don't really like having parent meetings for no reason. You guys have been great, okay? You trusted me, you leave me alone, and I'm just getting on with doing what I think is the best for our girls. But I was going to fill you in on exactly what I'm trying to do so that you know and that you guys can reinforce what I'm saying to them at home. Because I think that as much as coaches don't want to admit it, parents are more important. They're way more important. I mean, as much as I want to tell you to be quiet and everything and don't coach and don't do anything, you guys are way important. Okay, so let's try and figure out what we're trying to do. The field is gigantic. Did you guys notice? We're playing on a huge, huge field. So the thing that we've really been trying to...
Oh, so we're in the middle of their water bottles. Sorry.
They're resilient.
Okay, so for two reasons. Number one, it's a very good system to learn, but also it splits the field. It lowers the size of the field in terms of how much running we have to do. I'm going to show you how we're supposed to play. We're trying to play, and then you can say what they're saying. And before I get into the exact positions, I just want to tell you what we're spending a lot of time on trying to make moving look easy. A lot of our girls like to make moving look really, really difficult. And if they're making it look difficult, it's because it is difficult. And if it is difficult, there's a problem because they're supposed to just run around like crazy little butterflies and all over the place. And that's the age they're at. But between all the responsibilities and the life we live these days, we're pretty sedentary. And so people come here with different movement mechanic distortions. A lot of it is landing on heels, a lot of it is postural stuff, a lot of it is weakness, I'm in here, whatever. And if we don't get the entire body to work together to move correctly, it makes it difficult. It makes it tiring. It's like swimming across a pool without streamline. You know, it's tough. You don't know how to swim and you're trying to get someplace in a pool or an ocean, it's tough. So it's the same in running. So that's what we're trying to work on. And then once we get that fluid, we're trying to work on just adding the ball. So the ball should be the exact same movement, but there's a ball at your end of your foot. So the way you run normally is the way you run with the ball. Nothing should change. The way you go that way laterally is the way you go laterally with the ball. Nothing should change. And so we're trying to work on all that, and I can show you some ideas of what, if you want to talk to me individually about your specific player, then I can tell you exactly what I'm trying to get out of her and get into her while we work, while we train and stuff. And it's not easy because the girls are bouncing around, having fun, you know, whatever. So usually I got to get them a little bit tired before they actually start to listen. You know, and I think you want me to get them real tired so when they go home they actually listen to you too. Okay, so let's talk about the tactics real quick, and then it won't be too long. Okay, so basically the field is gigantic. It's 120 yards by 80. That's the max. So it's usually the fields we end up playing on are right about 105, 110 by 65, 70. It's still a lot. That'd be like if we played a game, like adults, and so we're twice the size of them, so we play on a field that's twice the size as their field. That'd be like if we played on a field that was 240 yards by 160 yards. So that'd be like from here all the way down to that area, all the way down, all the way over there. That's a lot of ground to cover if you look at it from a kid's perspective. And so movement is so key at this age because we've just been thrust into this gigantic game. So the problem is finding a balance as a coach and a bunch of parents where we can work in tight spaces and encourage them to develop the skills they're going to need for when the game becomes the right size and they all grow up to be like where the field is actually the size we see it as, and still be able to move around the field like cross-country runners and cover all this ground while we're screaming at them on a hot day, wherever the heck we're at. So that's the balance we're trying to make. So what I've done is split the field into threes. So the front line is the 9, and then the 11 on the wing, and then the 7 on the right. There's 3 forwards. And then there's a 10, there's a playmaker in the middle, and then there's a 6, an 8, and then down here we have 2, 3 is like a stopper, 4 is like a sweeper, and then 5. So if you look at it, we have basically 3, 3, 3, and a sweeper, or 3, 3, 3, and a playmaker, whatever you want to look at, wherever the extra person is, I don't know. But it's lines of 3. Kind of like we did in the beach when we finally figured it out, you remember? We were trying to play like a regular system where they move and everything like that, but it was just too much running through the sand. So we eventually just went 2, 2, 2. So we had 7 people, a goalie plus 2, 2, 2, and then wow, the whole world opened up because we didn't have to move. We could just play our actual stuff. The reason I'm yelling at them on the sideline to get up, there's only two things that I was yelling at them to do, and one was to pass, and the other one was to get up the field. And that's because I know that only after 2 weeks of training, when no training of long distance running, I knew that if we just stayed and played what I call netball, where a group of girls stay here and a group of girls stay here and hang by the nets, defenders and forwards kind of thing, and then like a couple middles, it's way more running. Believe it or not, even though they're standing here, it's way more running because there's no option to pass and people are just on their own and you're just chasing around the game, and it's just so annoying. So we were trying to eliminate netball and we were trying to eliminate kickball. So we're trying to get that balance of passing and whatever. So we split the field into threes, and then they get up and they're supposed to do all the little passing like we've been working on in practice. So if you encourage them anytime when they get the ball, they're looking to pass. And if they get close enough to the goal, they're looking to pass it into the goal. That's what they're trying to do. So it shouldn't be a big kick and a big risky try, a big long high kick. It should be like, okay, the goalie's over here, and I'm going to pass it over there. That's what they should be doing. And then all we're trying to do in terms of tactics is, as the number 2 gets the ball and opens up over here, the 8 and the 7 have to make a decision. And what is that decision? If the space is on for 8 to go wide out here, then the 7 comes in here. If the space is on for the 7 out here, and this person's marked usually, then she comes in here, and then the 8 is in the inside. And there's where the diamond, the triangle starts to form. So obviously whenever anyone plays with 3 forwards, it's a risk because you're putting 3 girls up and you put pressure on them and stuff like that, but you have less people at the back, less people in the middle, so balls are going to squirt. But I think it's a lot better way to play than some of the teams we played against. You know, the team we played against on Sunday morning where they just had like a sweeper back here, a stopper, and these girls never moved. I want our whole team to move all the way up the field. I don't care how far they go. When we finally scored our goal on Sunday, after a lot of pressure, if you saw Jenna and some of the other people, they were all the way up here. That is okay. That is good. Get them used to like moving up, and then okay, she's gonna kick it. Now we'll drop. We don't want to get to the halfway line and like kind of like whoa, get a nosebleed. That's my end. That's my space. It's the end of my job. I'm done right here. We want them to go. So there's no problem with where they want to go. The only thing is once they get someplace, we want them to pass and make triangles. So it requires a little bit of movement. That's what you're going to tell them when you see it. The thing that's going to be frustrating to you is that I'm going for the foot this year and a little bit next year. In terms of substitutions, you go to number 6. You're next in. Okay, someone wants to come out. She's coming out number 9. You go to number 9. Now, obviously, some girls are better at number 9 than they would be. They're a natural number 4 or number 3, you know, whatever. Like, you want to keep people like where they're best. You know what I mean? Where they're going to play for, you know what I mean, the U.S. women's national team someday. But it doesn't do any good for us. We want them to learn. So having a random substitution policy will hopefully allow them to play. Now, when we go back to what we're working on specifically most of the time, we're trying to move correctly and we're trying to move in diamonds. If you look at this, I call it triple diamond. There's a diamond right here, there's a diamond right here, and there's a diamond right here, and then a diamond right here, and then there's one right here. There's tons of diamonds, right? It's not just triple, but whatever. 4 versus 4 diamonds is what we're trying to get them to do almost always. So if they can do that and get in the diamond, when we train the 4 versus 4 diamond at practice, we have 16 players, 4 groups of 4 equals 4 diamonds for lots of little stuff we're going to do. They should know how to play the right side of the diamond, the north side of the diamond, the south side of the diamond, and the left side of the diamond. So no matter where they find themselves on the field, they're part of a diamond. Even the goalie, if you see the 2 drop back here and the 5 drop back here, there's another diamond. So they should always feel comfortable anywhere they are as long as they remember what they've been doing in practice in diamond. And we need them to feel comfortable and do that, even though they might have to long distance run up and down. It's like a 60-yard run kind of thing. Get up the field, get back, get up the field, get back. But that's mainly because the other team is going to bomb it. So the longer we can keep it, the longer we can encourage them to pass, the easier it's going to be for our team. That's kind of that's the idea. So when we're on the field, no matter where we are, we're trying to make those diamond, those combinations through the triangle. You know, last year it was a triangle, and now we've just added one more person. It's a diamond. And then as you go to the U13, you add one more person that's a diamond plus 1, which is crazy, 5, so it's half on half, half the team, half the team. And then as you get older, it's like 6 and 7 and 8, and then eventually you start to talk about the whole 11 on 11. But we're trying to keep the balance of this diamond plus the reality of having to play 11 on 11. And so the main issue is going to be moving smoothly and feeling confident to move where you need to move. And I know sometimes the girls stand there and they look around. They're thinking, what should I do now? You see your daughter not moving? Even a little bit this way or a little bit this, something's wrong. She should be moving. She should be moving. I was just telling Maddie that moving is caring. If you care enough for the team, you care for your teammate, you care for the person on the ball, move, go someplace, anywhere, I don't care, move, just move. And so people are going to move in the wrong spots, they're going to leave people open, they're going to make mistakes, but as long as they're actually trying to move, and then while they're moving, they're making it look easy and moving correctly, then we're doing good stuff. And so the problem, the one thing we're trying to go, okay, so before we can move correctly, the less injuries we're going to get. And that's why I asked you to get all those expensive shoes. So hopefully we'll be able to land more correctly. And if we land more correctly, our distribution of the impact of the chain will be a little bit less in certain areas for a start, and then we can try to build them into the athlete they need to be. Some of us are pigeon-toed, some of us are ballerina-toed, some of us are knock-kneed, you know what I mean? Some of us have the posture. There's lots of different stuff like that, and the ones that basically make it to the top, the ones that have a long career of playing and enjoying the sport, any sport, are the ones who move the most fluid. They don't have to stop, rehab, deal with it, whatever, get out, fight through hell to get back fit enough to go and whatever. So this is a big challenge with 16 different types of things to coach it, and mainly I'm trying to do it through the use of the arms. If they can actually move their arms a little bit more and use it more, it takes some of the weight off the ligaments and the joints down below, and they actually start to use the upper body in association with the lower body, and those are some of the bigger things. So I know that last year we didn't win the league, this girls team, but if I saw them play in terms of who was the most fluid, and it was like ice skating, was it ice skating where we had like 8 judges, you know what I mean? One from Russia and one from the rest of the world, and then we had the judge. I always thought that our girls, for the most part, there was a few times and different things that weren't perfect, but we moved fluid and we were moving the ball fluid and we were making it look sort of easy compared to what the other teams were doing. But now what we're trying to do is bring that to a gigantic field and do that with 16 people and new people. And so if we're spending, let's say, 30 minutes a day on that topic, that's a third of practice. That's 30% of practice. And then the second 30 minutes is fluidity with the ball. And we try to play little games. That's 66% of practice is going into moving. That means only 1/3 of it is going into actual tactics, which is why we're trying to keep it simple, which means why we need them moving and making good passes and just making the effort as best they can, because the results are not going to be perfect. But what we'll see is if you keep this group together for 2 years or so, and they move fluid and they get the feel of passing and receiving and moving and making it look easy, at the end of that rainbow, you have a pot of gold, because you've got a whole bunch of players who are great and can go at maximum speeds in all directions without any issues physically. And so they can really push themselves, and they're the ones who make it. And at that point, then, the tactics and whatever thing you choose to do is very easy. And just for one final thought, if we wanted to win, what would we do? We would put only one girl up top so it's not so easy to mark them, and put a lot of people way back in the back so it's way harder to score, and put some people in the middle. And we would just wait for the other team to make a few passes and come out and take the risk, and then we would bomb that thing way up to a fast girl who would go flying in behind and hopefully get a goal or two, and that would be the team that would be the gold team. But what happened? We've left a whole bunch of kids behind, and then that gold team is going to need to recruit, cut and paste, get rid of some girls, bring in some other ones, and where are they going to be finding those players? From the teams that encourage them to move fluidly, because they need fluid moving players to come in. And now once they're in the gold bracket, they're in the premier, they're in the awesome spot, the showcase tournament, now they need actual players. Okay, so we're doing this because they matter more than a trophy. I don't need another trophy. And that's what's going on. I still think we're good enough, and I think we're going to put a pressure on people, and I still think if we start passing and we believe in ourselves and all that, and we just keep going, that we got enough juice to at least get past a lot of teams. You know what I mean? I'm not trying to lose or anything. I mean, we're trying to put pressure. Okay, but just that's what to expect as we go into Coast League season. That's what we're going to do. That's why we're going to do it. And then that's what may go wrong tactically, but that's also why, because the benefits are going to be way better for your kid. And what I'm hoping is if they can move correctly through soccer, because soccer there's all kinds of different movements. It's not just one straightforward. It's all kinds of different directions. If we can do that, then she'll be good at everything. Bowling, same thing. Left foot, right hand, same. Whatever. Pick a sport. Baseball. Get down. We're in that tunnel. She's hitting the ball. Whatever it is, whatever sport they're going to choose, just even going up and down stairs without getting injured, it's a good thing, right? And so that's the plan. And so that's what I want you guys to reinforce at home. And then if you're having a conversation with her about if she's confused about what position she was in or what she could have done, et cetera, then you know how to go back to the triple diamond, and you can start from the diamond and have some kind of talk. Does that make sense? So it's fun. I love it. I think we're great. I think the girls are awesome. They all got tons of personality, and they want to play. And I can see they battle. You know what I mean? They battle. I just want them to battle without pain. Do you know what I'm saying? So they can really push themselves, because that's the key ingredient. I think this group, they'll go as far as they can. They will, until the engine cuts, they will keep going. I don't see any fear or anything. Oh, and that's one last thing I'll tell you. If there is an issue, if something's going wrong with your kid, go down the correct checklist. And what's the correct checklist? Most of us jump right to a psychological problem. Oh, she's just, she doesn't try hard enough. She's just lazy. There's something going on, or she doesn't get along with the coach, or whatever. She wasn't in the mood that day. That's the fourth or fifth thing to check on your checklist. The first one is physical. There's a physical issue. Something was wrong. Something was injured. Something was wrong for in terms of nutrition, training. She was not able to actually move or do whatever was required physically from that position or whatever. The second one is technical. She wasn't able to move with the ball from that position. The third one is tactical. She was confused on what to do in the diamonds and how to move, and something was wrong. So after all of those three things are going, and something's going wrong and you're having an issue with your daughter, save the psychological assessment to very, very last. Go down the checklist correct, because that's one of the most detrimental things you can do to the psyche of your insecure girl, is jump right to a psychological issue if she had a poor performance that day. You have to go down the checklist of physical, technical, and tactical before you go jumping into psychological. Okay, because as soon as you jump into psychological, you've just scarred her in some small way. And you haven't done it scientifically, you've just made something up that seemed apparent to you. Does that make sense, everybody? That's a big deal, especially for girls. I'll just hold this because I'll never stop shooting. Okay, that's the things I wanted to kind of tell you. That's what we're going to do. We're going to go into league. You're going to see us playing like this. You're going to see things out there, hopefully, where we're going to put lots of pressure on them and make lots of passes. And any other questions specifically about your daughter, we can just talk one-on-one. Okay? All right. Thanks for your time.
Thank you.
All right.
Thank you.